Good evening. Welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. I'm be your host tonight, Paddy. With us as always is Gav and McGinty, and Dan is with us tonight also. It's the 19th of September. We have not long played Livingston away. As most of you will know already, it's been a turgid day at the office for Celtic, with a 1-0 defeat away at the Tony Macaroni Stadium, aka the Spaghetti Had. Just to kick us off, Dan, you were actually there today. Is how would you sum up today's mood from the travelling support?
Well, for the minute, obviously everybody was a wee bit buzzing. It had a cup final feeling to it today. I turned to one of my pals and said it feels like a cup final because it just felt like everybody was in the mood before the game. The singing was loud, the singing was proud before the kick-off. Then the first 20, 30 minutes, you're thinking, right, okay, we're going to do these. Then they scored. And then everything just, honest, I still think we could be playing the new. And no scored. It just wasn't happening today, was it? And then the atmosphere just got more unsettled, nervy.
Definitely. It was a stark contrast for the last game against Betis. Obviously we went over there. We scored 3 goals, conceded 4, and we came today to Livingston Stadium and we couldn't even score one. Lost a goal. Gav, how was your day? How did you enjoy the game, or lack of enjoyment, should I say?
Well, mate, I'm just really gutted. I'm down like 20 quid, like, as an honest man, I paid for that shit, and it's like the price of an anti-Joshua fight, but there was no action at all for Celtic. It was boys. We were looking forward to it because we had like a couple of like defeats away at home already during this season to Rangers and Hearts, and we're thinking Livingston, bottom of the league, surely that's a gimme. But we're still kind of bedding in a few new players, but there's a wave of positivity within the team under Postecoglou, and we failed to capitalise. We hit some adversity, and it looks like we just don't know how to overcome adversity right now. So quite gutted, but try to keep it into perspective. You don't want to be too downbeat, mate.
Lastly, McGinty is the man of the negativity, should we say, on the forum. Excuse me, sorry, pal.
That's
How
alright.
was your views on today's game?
Yeah, scunnered is a good word. As Dazza says, we could probably still be playing right now, and we wouldn't have scored a goal. It just never seemed to be wanting to come after us. For me, I kind of felt positive as soon as we started playing. You saw some moments that kind of looked like the things like the pitch wasn't going to play a part. And I know we talked about it in the WhatsApp, but for me, a lot of things came together to be against us at one point, and obviously the goal about 20 minutes in was the kind of not the tip, the kind of the straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing. After that, you could hear it in the support for even through the TVs. You could hear the support died. The feeling was gone. You just knew it wasn't happening.
Aye. Well, obviously we've the last time that we actually won in the league against Livingston at their stadium was 2006. We've continued on with a terrible away results since February 14 this year, Valentine's Day, and that's continued on today again with another defeat. We'll just talk about the lineups quickly. So in goals today, Joe Hart, he was captain of the side. Josip Juranovic was at right back. Anthony Ralston dropping out through fatigue. You had Stephen Welsh come back into the side, partnering Carter Vickers, centre back. Bolingoli was the biggest surprise of the day, him being included. That just totally came out of nowhere, as far as I'm concerned. Gavin, you were laughing about it before. We were kind of like saying, I mean, where has this came from? How is Scales not playing?
Belgium, mate. That's where he comes from, Belgium.
Thanks for that, mate. via Dubai in Turkey.
Via British Airways.
Via Tinder. Moving up to the midfield, James McCarthy came in for his debut. He
Was
was
that his
part of
first start?
first start, mate. Yep,
Aye, first start, aye.
first start. Yep, I think he's made 2 substitute appearances so far, but that was his first start today. He was partnered in the midfield by David Turnbull and Tom Rogic. Leo Abada came back in today after his religious festival was observed. He went to right wing. Jota continued. He went to the left hand side, and up front again was Ajeti. Guys, how did you feel about the team lineup when you saw it? Dazza, what was the word on the bus?
At least we know that McCarthy started to make his debut.
Was that?
At least we know McCarthy started to make his debut. It was.
I think that one's going way over Paddy's head.
Well, what are you talking about?
It was bad today that it wasn't.
He wasn't there.
Oh, right, so what's he talking about?
The ball and goalie one was like everybody ball and goalie starting, and it had everybody reaching for their phones to make sure that somebody wasn't at it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you like to your phone to the guy next to you, like, right enough, yeah, starting. So I feel like I never seen that coming.
Neither did he, I bet you.
But what I will say was he was far for the worst today.
He surprisingly actually played no too bad. Some good crosses with his left foot. Nobody really got at the end of it, obviously, to convert anything, but he showed willingness to get on the ball and to get a good crossing. So, for all the discredit we'll give the guy for last season for fucking everything up.
Can somebody tell me the Livingston number 6's name? He get man of the match.
6, Oberle.
Big brick shithouse, man.
Going by BBC, yeah, Oberle.
He was man of the match. He was man of the match in the first half, and I said to my pal, I says everything. So this is tying in with the ball and goalie point. Every single cross we put into that box, whether it be ball and goalie, whether it would be Abada, Jota, whoever else, Turnbull, whoever else wanted, it just found his head like a magnet. And it wasn't working, and you could see it wasn't working that way. And what annoyed me, sorry for going off on a tangent. What annoyed me, was nobody was taking responsibility. It's no working with the crossbars. We're not getting nothing for it. Hit a dig, and I dare say we'll cover it a wee bit later on. But Mikey Johnson there was one Mikey Johnson done it in I don't know how late on the game is. Obviously, I had not got a clock. But he was running through, and he tried to do some wee stupid pass back diagonal in the box to Beaton, and it just ran it. And
aye, that was like the last kick of the game, aye, almost.
Well, since you mentioned Johnson, I'll just run. Sorry, Gav, just quickly. I'll just run down the bench for us as well. So on the bench was Scott Bain, Neil Baton, Mikey Johnson, as you mentioned, Dan, Montgomery, Ralston, Scales, and Sorrow. Again, just quickly to recap on the Livingston lineup, it was Stryer in goals, Devlin at right back, Oberle, Fitzwater, Longridge, McMillan, Williamson, Holt, Penrice, Lewis in a 5-man midfield, and Andrew Shannon up front. Yeah, sorry, what were you going to say?
Right, we need to go back to Bolly. Well, I need to go back to Bolly. My mind is still kind of anchored on that decision for Ange. It was a bold move for Ange, all right? And fair enough, the guy is still in our books. Ange just came in, new manager, and what happened last season, from his perspective, that's kind of maybe for him it's water under the bridge. For us Celtic fans and for the media especially, there's still a lot of bad feeling, which is understandable. But it's a business at the end of the day. You need to make decisions without emotion. So I get that Bolly was eventually going to play for us, but we get that Taylor's out. We get that, but Montgomery came in. Montgomery's been playing this season, and we've also bought the guy Scales for Shamrock Rovers. Now, Scales, I know that people are going to say that he is a utility player, and he might well be the centre back, perhaps. But last season for Shamrock Rovers, he specifically played at left wing back, and that was a full season at that position, and that's how he probably got. That's probably how we, at that point, we made the decision. Yeah, we're going to buy him. I think I heard a snippet of Postecoglou saying Bolly's been playing well in training, but why was Montgomery dropped? And Scales, he already played for Shamrock Rovers in the Europa League in the qualifiers. So if he's match fit enough for them, why is Montgomery and Scales been taken out? What do you think of that, Paddy? Were you annoyed? Were you baffled?
I was shocked, to be honest with you. You know how you get the Twitter feed up when the lineups get announced and they choose one player to kind of be the face of the team lineup, and I saw it was Bolingoli, and I had to look at the names and I'm like, what the fuck's he doing there? You know what I mean? Especially as you say, since you've got Scales on the bench has been brought in. Montgomery's been playing quite admirably, even though it's more so kind of a forward position. But it was a left wing decision to bring him in. I just wanted to add on to that as well, Dan.
Yes.
McGinty, I think it was saying that there was a wee bit of hard feelings against Bolingoli for last season's escapades. How did the crowd take to Bolly being on the park?
Honest, there was no. I mean, once in, I think everybody was just surprised on the bus, but once in the stadium, there was no animosity. There was no bad word. There was no, in fact, it was nothing. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a. It was nothing. It wasn't a highlight. It wasn't a low. It was just nothing. It was just
acceptable.
Accepted.
Yeah.
One wee question I've got to whoever. It was a bold move again for Bolly to come in, but do you think Ange would have done it at Parkhead, or do you think he would only have done it away from home?
I don't know. I'm with you, Gavin, on the bafflement of why was Montgomery not given a chance, and also why was Scales not given a chance. We all talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Scales took the number 5. Sure, you expect that he's obviously have confidence in himself, and the management has confidence that he's going to be somewhat in the starting lineup to some degree if you're going to pick number 5. As you said, he played left back for Shamrock Rovers. He's played in the Europa League qualifiers. He was on the bench against Betis. I'm with you guys. I don't understand why Scales wasn't given a start here. Where the hell did Bolingoli come from? That said, he actually didn't play that badly. Belgium. But he actually didn't play that badly. So,
no, I mean,
you know, but at the same time, why?
He was far for the worst on the part of the day.
How about the rest of the lineup? So you're quite happy with that? Were you happy to see McCarthy?
McCarthy was good to see him start. Obviously McGregor's out, so that's one thing. I think combined with Bolingoli being there, you're maybe taking a little bit back, thinking, oh shit, there's two kind of curveballs in there. But again, it was what it was. He had to get a start at some point, as Dazza says. Maybe we'll see that next week. But yeah, again, I don't think individual performances was the issue. I think there's a lot more going on there, and it has been for a few games.
I had said to my pal at the game about McCarthy, I was like, he's been everywhere. In the first 20 minutes, he was everywhere. Over 1 minute, he was at the far end, and then he was this end. And then the boy in front of us goes, he really has been. But then his distribution was absolutely woefully bad. So any good bit of work he got done, getting stuck in, all the other bit was undone with distribution. And I'm not privy to the stats, how many shots he had, how many touches he had, but I'm telling you, he must be about 70% mess up rate on distribution. Everything he touched went to a Livy player or a host football ball for a Celtic player.
I noticed that he'd made a very successful amount of passes to the billboards.
I don't mind that, but I don't mind that from a centre half, right enough.
Well, that's okay, because the ball boards are not greedy. You'll always get the ball back after them. So,
right. Well, moving on to the game, guys. Celtic are playing in their home kit, Livingston away, which is a strange one, I thought.
Is that the Livingston's home kit?
The black one, though. Is it?
I'm sure I've seen them playing in black a lot more than.
They normally would be yellow, would they? No, I didn't even actually.
I thought that, but no, I think that's a home kit, the black one.
So, maybe I'm wrong, which is no.
I think maybe I'm wrong because I'm always wrong.
Let's have a look at good old Google.
There's Mr. McGinty with the.
Mate, can your phone get any closer to the fucking camera?
Sorry.
joking, mate.
I actually, it's black seems to be the home, and there's a white one that's the away. The fucks.
That's weird.
My,
That's
Because
weird.
usually it is yellow, isn't it?
my apologies, I thought they had the yellow kit. Oh, well. Right, so inside the first minute, Livingston kicked off. They went back towards their goal. Ajeti was pretty quick off the mark. He pressed their defence well. Managed to get ahead of the skipper, Devlin, who brought him down 25 yards out. A booking straight away, which was strange. I didn't think it was that bad a tackle. The resulting free kick, Turnbull had an effort, 25 yards out, 30 yards out. Never troubled Strike it. That was
It was straight into the keeper's hands, wasn't it?
Aye, it was a height for the keeper's hands. Aye. Turnbull, I don't know. Turnbull didn't impress me the day at all.
I'm going to go as far as saying he was the worst player on the part of the day. Right, and I'm not saying he was the worst player on the part, but he's the one that you expect something for. We're expecting things, you know what I mean? But no, James McCarthy probably was the worst player on the part for Celtic today. No, in fact, no, not even close. Because you're turning a bad, they were terrible and all. Jesus, man, I'm tying myself up here.
That's a Dazza. Quick question for you. Would it be quicker if we say who got pass marks for you?
Aye, that's a fair question.
Because I believe quite a lot of the players
Joe Hart
were pushed. 100% aye. He had at least 3 good saves, if I recall.
Dazza, Ajeti is getting his moment to shine right now. He's had 3 goals in 2 games coming up to this one. We know that Giacomakis is building up his match fitness. So on today's performance, I think Ajeti is one of those guys where if you give him the service, then he can deliver. What was your thoughts on him today?
So, yeah, it was up front.
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Oh, you never noticed. See, mate.
See where we're going?
Yeah, at least you clicked onto that one quicker than I did, Gav. The first 20 minutes of the game, it was basically Celtic passing it about, getting their possession, scores up. The back line, which was Bolly, Welsh, Vickers, Juranovic, they were just passing about back and forward. But what I did notice that whenever the ball left the defence, mainly through Vickers, who seemed to be the pressing defender today and was bringing the ball out, he was giving it to the midfield, which was McCarthy was sitting the deepest. He was basically sitting in front of the defence, and you had Rogic and Turnbull. Rogic seemed to be the man that was making the odd tick for the start. He was collecting the ball. He was turning. He was passing it out wide. He was slipping guys through. He was going. It was dead direct with the ball. But you looked at Livingston straight away. Everybody that knows Celtic and watches them have watched every single time we play Livingston, and you know what way they're going to play all the time. They've got at least 7 or 8 guys in defence when they're on the back foot, and they're compact, they're tight, they're big, they're strong. You know what I mean? Every single time that we were getting the ball, it was either going wide to Jota on the left, Abad on the right. With your 2 fullbacks, they were balling right up the park, and you were getting crosses in, and it was just coming to absolutely nothing. You could tell that there was a bit of a theme there straight away. You could just see it coming. You know what I mean? You were going to be one of the ones where you were just attack, and nothing was going to come out. Did you guys have any worries in the first 20 minutes before the goals, or were you quite happy with the build-up play? McGinty, what was your thoughts on that?
First 20 minutes, I was actually quite encouraged by the likes of Jota. I thought he had a couple of good moments, a couple of bits of tricks. You saw Abada come through from the right, and you almost got that little bit of urgency about the attacking lineup again. I think we had Abada being quite direct on that right side. But it came to nothing. Eventually, you say after 20 odd minutes, they got the goal, and it just seemed like we could do nothing with it. I'm blaming the pitch a little bit because it never let us get going in our side. I know we talked about this in the WhatsApp group. You're going to all disagree with me, but for me, the pitch does play a part. That pitch, especially at Livingston, plays a part. It holds the ball up. It's very sticky. You see the pellets kicking up, even when the ball's just running across the tap of the surface itself. It's a horrible pitch to play on. You can't run properly on it. You saw the amount of times that players were clattering into each other and falling over the top of each other. You can't get a turn. You can't do nothing on that pitch. It's a horrible pitch to play on. And when our game is built on fast movement of the ball, quick 1-2s, quick turn of pace, dropping the shoulder, when you play that pitch, you just can't do that. And we have to adapt. Every club plays against Livingston has to play on the same pitch, so there's no excuses beyond we all fucking have to do it. But when it's such a big change for us, there seemed to be nothing that we were able to do to try and work around it somehow. I think we've all kind of hinted towards it before with Ange. There seems to be plan A, then plan A again. And that looked like it today with the pitch being... It wasn't a deciding factor. The pitch did not cost us the game at all. Shocking defending and the fullback being way out of position cost us that game. But it didn't help us get into our rhythm. And without that plan B, we didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on McGinty's comments there?
Right, okay, without being totally disagreeing with you, I do get the sentiment that it's not conducive to our style of play. But to use like a boxing analogy, you can't always stick and move. You don't always have it pretty. Sometimes you're going to come up against like a fighter who's going to press you, and you need to get in the trenches sometimes, and you need to work, and you need to earn the right to survive in the game. We can't always expect things to be pretty on a football park. This season alone, Aberdeen and Motherwell have visited the Spaghetti Had, and they've came away with wins. So if they can do it, why can't we?
I'm usually the negative one and the more cynical one, and I can't believe I'm trying to defend that shite performance that we saw today. But again, I dare say these other teams are used to playing on shitey pitches. Maybe it's just a bit more of the dogged fight. That's the kind of player and club that they are. They're more
David Turnbull earned his move to Celtic from playing for a team from Motherwell. Motherwell never had it easy. He
18 months ago.
He earned his stripes, David Turnbull, and he got his move to Celtic. So if he could manage it for a team who never had it their own way, he can come to Celtic and can carry that attitude of having done it in the trenches. So you transfer that ability, that attitude, that never die attitude.
You should, but that's over a year ago since he played for Motherwell. The style and what he's used to now is totally different. I mean, you could argue the same with James McCarthy, came through at Hamilton, 12 years ago. He can't even remember how to play on a plastic pitch.
McGinty, what do we play on when we train at Livingston?
We train, do we?
We train on a plastic pitch.
I can, but again, there's different standards, and you can see that pitch today. The pellets kicking up on that pitch is one thing. I think that might be old school 3G at best, whereas we're playing on hybrid 4G pitches, UEFA standards. That pitch, I'd be surprised if Livingston got into a UEFA competition. I'd be surprised if UEFA allowed that pitch to be allowed.
But every team like to play Celtic, they'll be in a European competition.
Aye, they'll probably have to ask us to use our fucking stadium to get permission to play for UEFA. But no, in our luck, we won't be in UEFA by then anyway. So
I totally understand where you're coming right for the pitch, kind
of. Like I say though, it didn't cost us a game. The game was lost elsewhere. It just did not help us.
No, but you will have people bringing up the whole pitch and how that affects your game, right? See, in the first 20 minutes, I thought our game was pretty fluent. You had guys like Jota who were using their skill. They were having the wee tricks and flicks. They were dancing about defenders. The ball wasn't sticking up. The ball wasn't slowing down. You know what I mean? The balls were actually moving pretty slick today. We didn't get any injuries. We weren't slowing up. We were able to run about. Nobody looked uncomfortable. We looked very comfortable, I think, for the first 20 minutes. I thought James McCarthy was pretty comfortable in defence up until the goal. He was not.
I thought Turnbull was terrible for the goal.
I thought Turnbull looked slow and cumbersome, and it was quite shocking as well that he was the one for that midfield trio who was moving out to the left hand side and getting further forward. But you looked at guys like Ball and Goalie; they were up and down the wings. Juranovic, he was everywhere. He was everywhere apart from the right back, I think.
Which we noticed that when the goal went in as well. For me, Jovanovic being so far out of position, be it because he's been asked to go in field, that's where the ball went to. Carter Vickers then goes out to the right full-back position to try and cover that, which then leaves Welsh, somewhat still inexperienced, coming back in after being out for 3-4 games, and he's marking now at that point two players, and he sees one get in front of him, which is when the ball comes over and he's lost his man. For me, the goal was conceded by Juranovic being out of position, be that by design or not.
Well, as I say, up until that goal, I thought we were playing pretty fluently. Livingston were kind of resorting to trying to foul us and trying to put us off a wee bit. But what they did do was they sat deep for the first 15 minutes, and then they started to have a wee kind of snippet here and there. You saw a couple of signs of counter-attacking for them. And then you came up to the 24th minute, Celtic had obviously been up and down the pitch. They tried to get the balls into the side. Rogic was trying everything in his power to get the ball through the middle, but the compact defence kind of left Ajeti pretty much with his finger up his arse, other than trying to close down the defenders when he was out of possession. But you got up to the 24th minute, we lost possession in the middle of the park. Livingston pushed forward a wee bit, and the boy Longridge, I think he was left back, he took a speculative shot for about 35-40 yards out, which straight into Hart's hands. He fumbled it a wee bit. He did fumble it a wee bit, but thankfully there was nobody about him. We moved the ball up the park. We ended up with the ball in the middle of the park. Turnbull had it, lost possession. The Livingston defender passed it pretty quickly out to the left-hand side. Again, Juranovic was nowhere to be seen. That the fella that was on the left wing had ample space to go and do what he wanted. He swung the ball in. The only person in the box was Stephen Welsh, up with Andrew Shinney. Shinney managed to get a touch to it, and he rolled Welsh to his right-hand side, and he unleashed a shot that went to Joe Hart's top corner into the goal, and that was the 1-0 to Livingston. And that was the turning of the game for me. For everybody, I think. Gav, what did you think of the goal?
Aye, a bit of an experience for Welsh, and you're wondering, we have been clamouring, well, some people have been clamouring, some quarters of the Celtic support have been saying Starfelt has not been cutting the mustard, bring in Welsh. They got what they wanted, some people got what they wanted, and then we see that. It's kind of indicative of sometimes a manager can make the right decision and lose the game, and sometimes flip it the other way, they can make the wrong decision and still win the game. Aye, inexperience for Welsh, and Shinney, he was kind of channeling his inner Lyndon Dykes. Unfortunately, that's the only way that they're going to win against us. But they do it so effectively. We've seen it. So that's in the past 5 games. They're unbeaten against us. At the Spaghetti Head, they've had 2 wins and 3 draws. That's how they do it. They bully our centre backs. It happened against Julian, you know what I mean? So if it can happen against Julian, it can happen against Welsh. So let's not be too harsh on Welsh. But it happened. So it's still in the first half. So heads up, regroup, and plod on. And then
I think even
Well, guys, what about yourself? What was your view for the stands about the goal? How did you see it coming, or was it kind of flash the pan?
oh, it was not Celtic, wasn't it? So you're thinking right up there, we just need to deal with what we need to deal with the best way, and if we can deal with it, we just need to deal with it. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. Right, where was that? Right, so it was us, and then you're like they're only having 1 or 2 chances to our like non-stop barrage on their goal. And it just feels like we need to deal with day 1 or 2 chances better. And you're like, right, come on, deal with it. But as soon as that ball dropped, you knew where it was going. You knew where that was.
Did you notice for the stands? I'd actually says to Gav during the game that I'd noticed that when Celtic were attacking down Livingston's left-hand side, I could just notice in the corner of the screen, Juranovic was coming well over into basically the centre mid position, and I noticed the guy who ended up on left wing for the goal. He was left totally unmarked there himself. albeit Celtic were in possession and attacking, but you know, like that one stray pass for Celtic, and that leaves all that side of the pitch exposed.
We've said that
What
from
it-
day one, haven't we? About
Aye.
the Ange setup with the inverted fullbacks coming in. We know that space is getting left opened, and we said it from day one. That's all teams are going to have to do: just leave a man up there, punt a ball into the corners, let somebody run onto it, and it's going to split our defence, our partnership up, and it's going to open us up. And it is every time we lose goals, apart from against Betis, because you saw the quality that they had pushing through the middle of us. And I think we actually played quite well against Betis. But so often this season, you're seeing goals going in, and
Did it.
that's what's happening, and we're seeing it. And the fullbacks need to stop being inverted fullbacks or whatever it is that you want to call it. And Ange wants to play it as. He needs them to be coming more of a flat four a little bit more often.
That's the question, though. Like, do you stop doing it, or do you mitigate it to an extent? Ange Postecoglou wants to do that. That's the defenders are doing what he's told them to do. So that's the question, though. Do you stop it? Do you only do it sometimes? Postecoglou needs to give these directions, or do we keep plodding on with this philosophy and see where it takes us?
See, that annoys me, that we play one way and we're playing one way only. No. Horses for courses, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Um,
I mean, it's one thing having a full squad, a full starting 11 with Kyogo and Abada there and Forrest there and whatnot, where that attacking front three and Rogic supporting it is phenomenal. It's fast, it's energetic, there's people moving around and creating space for each other. That's brilliant. But see, in the last few games, we've not had all those players there. So you need to do something to mitigate against that. So don't leave yourself so exposed when your best form of defense is an offense attack, and we can't do that. So you're going to have to drop things back a little bit just to shore up, because we don't have that same urgency up front right now. Not until Forrest and Kyle will come back.
Dazza, I totally get what you say for horses for courses, and I was hoping, mind when we had that opening press conference with Dominic Mackay and Ange Postecoglou, and the fans were able to ask him questions. If I was there, I would have asked him that. But I'm thinking of two top coaches in the English Premier League, Jurgen Klopp and Marcelo Bielsa, who do not have a plan B, and their fans just have to get behind it because it's plan A, and if that doesn't work, but
do
as
plan A better.
Yeah, is Postecoglou going to be another disciple of that philosophy?
Well, you look, we all know what Livingston Stadium's like. We all know what their teams are generally like. We know what their pitch is like. You look back at Brendan Rodgers, right? Brendan Rodgers had us playing some tremendous football, all possession-based football. Guys like Sinclair and Paddy Roberts running down the wings. Even he, when he was in his kind of prime as Celtic manager, he was going to Livingston and he was getting stung by a Livingston team who are, albeit playing to their strengths, but they're playing they're playing in a way where they try and frustrate teams like us. You know what I mean? So how can we possibly go and try and play the exact same way that we do at Celtic Park on a big open pitch where you've got plenty of space to be slipping guys through, wingers to go and do their thing? You know what I mean? When we can expose kind of slower backlines by getting by them. We're coming to Livingston and we're faced with a brick wall of adversity. You know what I mean? And we're planting the bricks ourselves for it.
Can I say one thing? See, for like those stalemates, we've seen it over the past couple of decades when we're playing away from home, and it's reaching that 70th minute, the 80th minute, 85 minute, and we're still either losing or we're still drawing, and we're searching for that winner. We've seen plenty of those types of games where you're frustrated and you think it's not going to be our day, nothing's went for us. But see, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my perspective, like back in the Martin O'Neill days, what we did to counteract that was physicality and height. We had like three massive bulldozers at centre back. We like Bolly, no him, Baldy,
Albion,
and Valgarin, Nalby, Baldy, and you would use their height. And obviously Sutton and Hartson, you would have the height from the set pieces. That's what Martin O'Neill did to counteract that. And moving on from that, even like Gordon Strachan, he had Aidan McGeady, and then we had people like Paddy Roberts, Paddy McCourt, those kind of like wizard type players who could actually like make something out of nothing. I'm not too sure that we have that right now.
Well, the only one that we had today that was doing that was Rogic. Do you know what I mean? But even after the goal, I don't think he quietened down a wee bit, but it was almost like it was sheer frustration.
Celtic
As I
quietened
say,
down.
as I said earlier on, you'd Vickers at the back who was Stephen Welsh was kind of just passing it about, back forward, back and forward, back and forward. But Carter Vickers was the one that was stepping out of midfield, almost in that kind of IRS type role, bringing the ball out, trying to drive through, make something happen. And you could even see him sometimes. He was coming out with the ball and he was looking at the other guys as if to say, "This is after the goal, obviously." Looking as if to say, "Go on, somebody move for me." Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
By the way, I thought Big Vickers played brilliant today. I thought he would played really well today.
He had a great tackle early on, didn't he, Dan?
I thought the big man. I was the former product of Catholic United was. I thought and a wee bit more match time under his belt and a wee bit. You think what a player he's going to be?
I would say, and I'm looking at the BBC stats here just now. They've gave ratings for Celtic. The highest rating is Joe Hart at 4.19. I think that's pretty poor from BBC to put him that low because I thought Hart actually had quite a good game. But
what was his score?
4.19.
Out
Well, not
of
like-
10?
Brilliant
Out of
saving
10,
centre.
Hart's rating, yeah. I would have put
I'm not
Hart
like
a
to
lot
use-
higher than that.
I'm not like to use the word Huns anywhere, I know.
Too late.
I like BBC are Huns with typewriters.
They are, but they've got, and I agree with BBC here at this point. I don't agree with the ratings, but I agree with the positions. Hart, Carter Vickers, and Rogic, they're the only three for me that gets pass marks today. All three of them I thought played quite well.
Who did I give
Hart
pass marks
kept
to?
it. I think
I
you gave
would-
pass marks to the three of them as well. You're definitely Hart so far.
I would add Ball into that mix as well. I don't think he was perfect by any stretch of imagination, but the guy tried.
He wasn't the worst bad player today.
The worst. Aye, he wasn't the worst bad. He didn't fuck up. Put it that way. He didn't fuck up.
I thought Iota and Abada were empty jerseys.
And a Jetty then. So has a Jetty deserve to be dropped as soon as Giakoumakis is fit, or do you
No.
think we should still persevere?
No. Listen, we'll go back to the plastic pitch and we'll go back to all the mitigating circumstances with Livingston Day. Ayeti's still, I think he's still holding the jersey. And the only reason he was missing today was because he was missing the service.
That's fair.
Again, that goes back to the management for me because, as I said earlier on, your Livingston defences are usually tall, robust guys. They compact it tight. As soon as Celtic came on the attack, your defensive four ends up becoming a defensive 5, 6, and 7, and you've got one player, you've got one guy in there who's a Jetty, who's expected to score goals. Do you know what I mean?
I've never shouted shoot so many times in one match than I did today. And it was just now outside the box, have a dig, work the keeper, and then see to watch it get back out to the wing. And I'm thinking to myself, we've tried this all day here. We've been doing this all game, putting it in that big number 6. Sorry, I know he's told me his name earlier on, but that big number 6 was just heating him away for fun. Do you know what I mean?
I thought he got kind of a bit stronger as the game went on. It's probably because like playing at the Macaroni Stadium, they've probably got that pasta in their diet, and it just makes them kind of stronger as they go on. But like even like possession wise, they had 20. That was a fucking shite joke.
Leave the clips to me.
Dad joke 101.
Did they have fucking spinach pasta or something? Was it like Popeye?
we could do with him up front. Aye, here by the way, we do need a stat man moment. So possession wise, Celtic 79. We made that count for shit. Shots, they had 7, we had 16. However, shots on target, they had 4, we had 5. And corners, again, harkening back to the Martin O'Neill era where we could make set pieces count. They had 3 corners, we had 10 corners, and fouls 12 to our 13. So a lot of possession for us.
I'm assuming that was the first half stats, Gav, aye?
That's what I've got overall.
I think today what you used to you're all prepared and you're all get these screens that nobody can see after camera, and you're all getting. I mean, I'm here going out on a pure whim. You're well prepared for this. I need to up my game here, don't I?
What do you think Paddy's doing?
Mate, you've upped your game. You've got a bottle of beer, right? That's game enough.
And I was there. Hey, to quote the old Jimmy Sanders, what's your point, Colin? We at the game. I fucking was.
Aye, just don't quote fucking Jimmy Savile then.
Aye, that's the only Jimmy S who's acceptable here, Jimmy Sanders, mate.
Aye, so again, everything kind of crumbled after the goal, and it was kind of horses for courses up to the second half. And then when the teams came out, same lineup again. It was fucking just the exact same. You were getting the passes in the midfield, and it was going out wide right. At this point, you had guys. Bolly was definitely playing further forward at this point. To some good effect, I will say. There was a few moments where Roderick had slipped him in behind, and Bolly's galloping on, and he's getting by the right back, getting a bit of space, but his crossing kind of was a bit woeful today. It wasn't bad, but sorry, woeful's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. It wasn't effective. Couple were too short, couple were too high, but again, you had a compact Livingston defence, couple of towering defenders, and you've got a jetty there himself, more or less. And it was the same for the other side. Abada was trying, right, but he tailed off pretty early. And Juranovic was just running about everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't think he knew that he was supposed to be the right back. But he was the same again. He managed to get a few good crosses in, but just totally countered by Livingston, who then started to get on the ascendancy even more, and they were starting to break forward with more intent.
That annoyed me, that watching that wee Diddy team looking like, you know what I mean? You actually felt that at the game. They had our number all game. They restricted us to. I was actually surprised at the amount of shots on target that you were saying there, because I know for that first half, I know the only keeper that was worked was Joe Hart, and I know for a fact that if it wasn't for Joe Hart, that game could have been 2-3-0.
There's a good 3 or 4 good saves from Hart today that definitely kept us in the game.
When I sees that fair, as well prepared, well, as you were prepared, and I was just thinking. As I sees about the Vickers shot, you know what I mean, and it was you said, Hail Mary, God nowhere. Do you know what I mean? It was.
That shot at the end, it was a good, what did you say, about 5 yards kind of off target. It made the keeper work for it. The keeper had to dive to make sure. The commentary at the time said that the keeper was beat, but he wasn't. It was not on target. It was, as Paddy said before we came live, it was a Hail Mary. It was what it was. He's obviously scored one last week, and he tried it again, but...
Refresh my memory.
Ajeti did have a good shot.
What was it? What was the best ones?
What was what done?
I would say the Ajeti shot. Ajeti was like fed in. He had his back to goal. He did a smart turn, and he hit a shot. It was low to the bottom left corner. The keeper got down well. I thought that was a good shot. There was a good bit of power behind it.
That was I think that might have been Turnbull, Gav. I've got that wrote down for the 78th minute. 78th minute, Turnbull kind of was in the left hand side, and he done a pirouette round the defender, and he turned and he had a low drive to the keeper's right.
No, this was a different one. Ajeti was fed in, and it was like very, very central. But I think that the Turnbull one, I know the one you're talking about, it was more kind of to the left hand side.
Do you watch his game, Paddy, with a bit of paper and write down all the key moments? If you do, my hat is well and truly.
Mate, I'm sitting here with a hangover. I'm sitting in my wee man cave with a hangover today, so I'd literally nothing else to do but sit and write notes on the game.
Listen,
mate, I'm sitting in here like Hugh Keevins writing my wee match report.
Listen, it's what you've impressed me. Can I just go as far as saying that?
Mate, just because you've had a couple of beers, don't start on the living, right?
Keep that for after.
You don't need beers for that, mate.
No, you know when it's the beers start, it's made blokes and like.
Do you know something that I did notice, right? And I actually heard this comment somewhere else today, but it totally rung true. See the longer that the half went on, the second half, sorry, and Celtic were obviously chasing a goal. The time's ticking on, you're getting to like the 70th minute, and you're starting to think, oh, is this going to be one of these days? Every single time that we got the ball into Livingston's defence, they were starting to drop back. you ended up with like there was one moment where Rogic, Jota got the ball on the left hand side, passed it into the middle. The ball ended up to Rogic, and Rogic is trying to dance through about 5-6 guys. At that moment, you're looking at the Livingston defenders, and it almost looks as if they multiply. Do you know what I mean? They just turn into this big black ball, and you're thinking, God, where is this going to come from? You know what I mean? And you're looking at the bench, and it's a weak bench.
But that's what I was saying earlier on, which was infuriating me at the game, was the severe lack of taking responsibility and having a shot and just passing the ball out wide, where time and time again Livingston just snapped that out. I can't believe the words I just said there. Livingston snapped. Not me. Livingston had their number today. Whether we like it or no, where we can dress it up and we can try and analyse it, we can try and dissect it, we can try and everything. Livingston had their number today.
And they have for a decade and more. They keep doing this.
No, listen, don't buy into that decade and more. They were at the league for 2005. They were at the league for about 80 a year. But you know what I mean? So I know what you mean, Lo. It's still unacceptable.
It's not just a one-off. This isn't just an Ange Postecoglou.
It's becoming a regular
thing. It's regular with Livingston. They've got a number. They know how to play, and this is why it comes back to me for things like the pitch. They're used to playing on that pitch. Teams like Aberdeen and Motherwell and Kilmarnock before them, they're used to playing these pitches at times, and they're the kind of players and clubs who are ready for dogged fight.
We're all used to do it.
I know, but our style of play does not suit that at all, and we don't seem to. I know we partly have one of these pitches at Livingston. I dare say is of better standard and better quality than what Livingston have, but we don't seem to do anything that actually rains on that pitch. I can dare say we're probably outside on the fucking all-weather pitch more often than not, but we need to do more to actually be comfortable on these pitches a lot more.
Well, McGinty, kind of moving on from the plastic issue. When I was watching the game, I'm thinking we're probably not going to get a point for today. I was thinking, it'd be great if we had Giakoumakis and he was match fit, and I would play Giakoumakis and a Jetty up front. I would do 4-4-2 or something like that. And what we've heard about Giakoumakis, he thrives on chaos. So I would do that 4-4-2. Just take the bull by the horns and see how the Livingston defence would deal with two big physical players. But apart from that, and that's kind of one question, I'll leave it open to both of you. But the other question would be, would it have been any different if McGregor and Furuhashi were playing today?
Yes. I think Kyle gives you so much more in the attacking front. He creates his own space. He's more energetic than what a Jetty is. Which, by the way, I do agree a Jetty's been quite good so far in the last few games and he deserves his position. But Kyle will fit. Kyle will walk straight back into that team because he offers so much more than what a Jetty does. Kyle will, for me, is key to what Ange is trying to do in that final third.
But let's see what Ange's trying to do. And what Ange's trying to do, and it doesn't matter until he starts getting. He needs to get the results to buy him time, because obviously I've just seen some wee virgin, for somewhere has made a Postecoglou out poster that Hunter started to send to me. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, once that sort of stuff happens, it doesn't matter what philosophy. He could be the best manager since Pep Guardiola, but what he needs to do is he needs to start winning. He needs to start record. Put it this way: we can't afford to be. Sorry for going off on a tangent again. I didn't know if I walked away from that stadium the day thinking, "Oh my God, Rangers dropped points today," or "Thank God they dropped points today." I don't know if I'm disappointed that they dropped points. Well, obviously I'm happy they dropped points, but I don't know if I'm angry about it or happy about it.
It shouldn't be September. We shouldn't find ourselves in September and saying thank God for that.
Yeah.
It should be later on in the year whenever we're rejoicing at them dropping points, because if they won today, we would have been 6 behind at that point, and you're thinking, can we haul it back? Like Paddy McGinty asked you guys at the start of this season, are we going to win the league? And is Postecoglou going to still be the manager at the end of the year? And both of you said yay for both, which is understandable. But it looks like we're having a lot of highs and lows right now. And as Dazza just kind of pointed out, some of the Celtic fans are coming out and being quite negative about Postecoglou and the style of play. And is it going to work out? Are we being pragmatic enough to actually win this league? It's a good question. It's a fair question. For me, I'm still going to keep the faith. If it means that we're
No,
not going to win the...
Listen, there's been plenty of positives to look at this season so far, right? But there's also been plenty of negatives. So if anybody's got an opinion, they're well within their right to can express that.
I was at my pal's party on Friday night, and one of the Rangers supporting pals had said, he goes, "What's your fancy?" And my pal said something that sort of rings true with my own point of view. At the start of this season, I'd go to AF, like a big, massive rebuild, a bit of everything. And then now I'm a wee bit more optimistic, despite this is obviously before the day. Now, they had great wins against Hearts, Ross County, Dundee, and Ross County. And but the away form is concerning. Now, I get that it's a rebuild, and things are looking good. Things are looking like we're going to go in the right direction. But we just need to be more clinical, and we just need to. Otherwise, the players will throw the manager under the bus, because this is Scotland. This is Glasgow. You don't get to tap your first 3 away games. You don't get to take 50% of the 50% win ratio after the first 6 games of the season. You don't get that luxury. But was it we lost 5 games last season and lost 10 in a row? We've lost 3 already, and it's only 6, isn't it?
Listen, we all know it's been a massive rebuild job, right? We all know that we're having issues with players being out, which has left us with a threadbare squad. But for me, the last few games, Ange really needs to, judging on the last couple of games, Ange is going to really need to up his game in terms of his in-game management and the system that he's got with the fullbacks, right? I mean, even today, right, you saw McCarthy started to wane off. His passes were absolutely shocking. And I mean, he waited to the 71st minute before he brought a sub on, and he brought 3 on straight away. He brought Sorrow on for McCarthy, which was the right call for me. He brought Beaton on for Welsh, which was baffling. You know what I mean? Because you're just putting on a like-for-like substitution.
But did you think?
And he brings on Johnston as well. Johnston's for Rogic.
But I thought Beaton. I'm going to give Ange a wee bit of credit on the Beaton one, because I thought Beaton he's more of a forward attack, a forward-minded player, and I thought Beaton was getting himself into positions. All right, it was just Livingston that had snaffled us it. But he was another one that I think I shouted shoot at a few times. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So he's brought him on to just basically pass the ball about to nobody. But the whole problem for the full game from start to finish, and I'm not going to talk anymore about the rest of the game because it just continued on the exact same fashion as it did since the Livingston goal. I mean, the big problem today was that we went into the game with the same mentality that we've been doing. Try and get the balls in quick, zippy, fast. It's not going to work on a wee pitch like Livingston's when they're playing with big guys that are just going to defend for their life. They're going to drop back, they're going to put 7 or 8 in defence as soon as you start getting on the ball. And all that you've got to offer is getting balls down the line and throwing a cross here and there into a jetty. Or, like that, try and get through the middle and you can't even get a shot off on target. I think the only one that got a right, proper, decent shot for distance was Vickers. And obviously Turnbull and a jetty, Gav, as you've alluded to, had a shot with the keeper parried. You know what I mean? We've said it before. If it wasn't for Joe Hart again, it would have been 3-0. Because he had 2 cracks. One was for Alan Forrest, which is James Forrest's young brother.
So that we've done the game, right? So we know Stevie Wonder could see where we went wrong today. You know what I mean? But now we've got a massive task ahead of us. We've got a tough next 5 games. You know what I mean? Dundee United at home, and if anything's gone to form, then we should beat them, right? Then up to Pittodrie. Now, Pittodrie's not the place I want to go, and not being able to buy a win away. Then Motherwell away. So that's Pittodrie and Motherwell away. If we don't change something soon, we could be the first five away games of the season without a win. And Aberdeen and Motherwell, they're scaring. That scares me now. Then we come back to. Then we bring St Johnstone back to Celtic Park, and then Hibs away. Not mean so that could be.
Well, what I will say is that Aberdeen are kind of toiling a wee bit as well, but you know fine well that as soon as Celtic go up to Pittodrie, they're going to raise their game for that.
Aye, because Livingston have won all their games this season, haven't they? That was Livingston's first win today.
That's their first win.
They were bottom of the table.
1 point before today. Now they've got their first win.
It's worth pointing out the last time that we went 3 games unbeaten in the league was Kenny Dalglish back in the year 2000. So that's how far we're going back. That's a bad stat. And as Dazza said, we can't go 4 games unbeaten. We need to get a bit of grit about us, man. We really need to. And it's going to be a game without Furuhashi. He's not going to make it back by then. We need to do something.
I mean, see the day, Gav. I don't think Furuhashi would have made a difference because the way that we set up, it wasn't pretty.
I think he can stretch. He can stretch.
No, I know, but there's only so much that he can do. Do you know what I mean? Furuhashi's movement is brilliant. We've all seen that. But even Furuhashi himself, playing as a lone forward, isn't going to be able to take on 7 or 8 men.
I agree with you. To an extent, they're a very compact unit, and all they're going to do is maintain their shape and move left whenever we shift it to the left, and move right when we do it to the right. So the only way to counteract that, because we don't have the physicality, is to move the ball quicker, switch it quicker, and be more aggressive with our pass and with our vision. If you don't up the ante, then you're never going to make that breakthrough unless you get really fucking lucky.
You know that. I know that. We all know that. Me and McGinty were talking about it earlier. This has been happening for Brendan Rodgers was the manager. This has been happening when Neil Lennon was the manager. Every time we go up to Almonville and we try and play the same, we always try and play with one man up front. And we've just done the exact same again today. We've played into Livingston's hands. You know what I mean? McGinty, what do you think is the biggest issue with a continuity problem like that when you go and try and play the exact same and that's the same through 3 different managers?
Well, I was saying sorry, sorry McGinty, but I was saying if Giakoumakis was actually up and running, I know this is hypothetical, but insert a bit of chaos, Giakoumakis and a Jetty, just fucking go for it, see what happens.
Aye, 2 up front.
Yeah, for the start, no wait until the 80th minute, you know.
We said at the start of the season when Ange Ball came into effect, we loved it. We scored 5, we scored 6, we scored 5 again, and all the rest of it. We were tearing teams apart. Okay, low end teams, but that's what Livingston are. We're tearing them apart. We're stretching defences. We had 3 players attacking at one time. We are supporting in Rogic. We had shots coming off, and there's 2 people in the box waiting to pick up the scraps. That was brilliant. It was pass 1-2, pass 1-2. You had mic'd up with Ange at the start of the season, but he's mic'd up training session. When we don't have the ball, we get it back within certain times. We get the ball, we touch once, twice, and we pass it, and we move, we create the space. We've not done that for about 4 games now. Since Kelgo's been out, basically, we seem to have just went to, fuck, we'll do what we did last season, revert back to type, pass it out to the left. We don't get any space because they're packed fucking 2 buses. We pass it around to the back line, out to the right. Oh, look, it's packed there. And around it goes recycle possession. Famous words from Rodgers at one point. And I agree full-heartedly with what Gav said a minute ago. If that's what teams are going to do to us, they're going to sit there as a unit. They're going to go to the left when we go left, and they're going to go right when we go right. There's no point passing it 4 times to get to the right-hand side. Switch it. We've got fast players in Jaw, fast players in Abada, and I know I said earlier that you can't really run on that pitch, but neither can they, and if you ping the ball fast enough, it was holding up. You need to move it faster, regardless of that pitch, regardless of Livingston, if it was Kilmarnock, Raith Rovers, whoever. I know they're knowing us team. I've just seen Raith Rovers, obviously, it's in the quarterfinal of the League Cup coming up next. But yeah, we need to move it faster, and we're not doing that for the last few games.
The two biggest glaring issues for me with this team is that A, there's no plan B, and Secondly, the fullback kind of system, this inverted fullback that Ange talks about, it's an absolute shambles. And again, there's another goal that came for that today. How many times have we seen that this season? How many times have we seen when we come up against a team that play with wingers, we're being exposed? You know what I mean? And that then in turn puts pressure upon a shambolic defence is what we've got. I mean, we dropped Starfelt today for Welsh. For whatever reason, I don't actually know, to be honest, but Welsh
had a niggling knee injury, and he didn't want to risk it on the plastic pitch.
I was quite glad to hear that at the start. Not that he had a knee injury, but just that he wasn't playing. But again, the goal was very Starfelt-esque. Gavin, you said it earlier on. People wanted Ralston Starfelt dropped. I was one of them. We got the changes in, and it was just like for like. Do you know what I mean? McGinty, what was it? What was Angie's comments just for the viewers?
Bring it back up 2 seconds. Just read it verbatim as such. So,
well, he's saying that. All right, sorry.
So he says, we didn't start the game well, and we paid the price. After they scored, we dug ourselves into a little bit of a hole. We just weren't aggressive enough, which I think we've just alluded to there. It's not good enough. If we want to be successful, we can't continue not picking up results in these games. That's the test for us. Which, again, for me, that's another Ange comment after the game where he accepts and he acknowledges where the flaws and where the faults are. He did it with Kyogo and Edward when he put Edward up top and Kyogo on the left, and realised in the Rangers game Kyogo should have started up front. I love that he's holding his hands up and admitting to it. But as you said earlier, guys, it's 50% win rate. When's he going to actually start getting that plan B, start getting it right? Because it's coming fast now that it's going to start kind of building up on us.
And the other thing, sorry, Paddy, but hindsight after a match is fine. But you're talking like we were talking about it earlier, in-game management. Yeah. When we need to see a reaction, when we need to see a reaction in the second half, where the fuck is it? I want to be a fly in the wall in the dressing room. I want to see the tone that he's using, what words he's using, because you don't talk to players for 15 minutes during half time. You're talking to them for maybe 2 minutes. That's all you do. A few words. I'm not seeing it. I've not seen it for a few games now. Again, I want to keep this into perspective because I don't want to veer too much in the negativity side. But that's my point.
Did they also not mention about consistency? He doesn't believe that his side isn't consistent. He thinks his team are performing well. Do you know what I mean? That where on earth is the consistency with a 50% win rate?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of comment's almost Neil Lennon-esque. What I've just read out there is good because you're acknowledging, you see that we're not aggressive enough, you see there's no urgency, you see that this is happening again and again, so yeah, maybe you'll fix it. But then at the same time, if he's coming out with comments like that, that's almost Neil Lennon-esque of, I'll throw a random curveball in that says that I am doing good, fuck you, it doesn't matter what you're saying when the stats tell you 50% win rate, 3 losses in the league so far. We're only 6 games in. It's not good enough. He's got time, he's got credit, but let's look at the fixtures again. As we're saying, you've got Dundee United, Aberdeen and Motherwell coming up. He loses points in Aberdeen and Motherwell. I think he's going to find it really hard to convince a lot of supporters that he's on the right track if he drops points in those 2 games.
Well, I mean, after today, obviously as Dan mentioned earlier on, Motherwell managed to pick up a lovely point in Glasgow today, but that still leaves Celtic in 6th position with 9 points. I know it's only 6 games in, but we're still in 6th position. That mob's first.
I think we'll make the top 6.
Sorry?
I think we'll make the top 6.
We're holding on to it just now.
Well, Aberdeen's up with us with 1 point. They're sitting 7th with 8 points. You know what I mean? But it's still early in the season. It's 6 games in. There's only 4 points between us and the top place. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as if we're sitting with like a 10-goal deficit. But
no, of course. But it needs to tick.
But something needs to be a rocket up somebody's ass pretty quickly, because as you say, if we go to Dundee United, if Dundee United come to us and we lose another couple of points, lose 3 points, we then go to Pittodrie, start losing points. You know what I mean? That gap's going to start widening up. And Ange needs to realise that he's not going to get time. He's not going to get time to put this fancy plan into place. It's lovely. It all sounds great on paper, and there's been snippets of it. But he needs to realise that this is a totally different kettle of fish, and the guys that's there need to help him out as well. As far as I'm concerned, like the likes of Kennedy and whoever else is in that team, in that setup, where has got to
Windows
be saying,
10.
look, you can't get starting.
Again, I agree with you, but
they need to tell him, look, you just can't go out and play with the exact same system that you go and play at Celtic Park or Betis, where we've got a big open field. You can't go and do that at the Totty pitch that's the Spaghetti had.
aye.
Do you know what I mean?
I
See,
think
the thing
there's definitely bigger issues that needs addressed by ourselves and further podcast, but most certainly by the management team as well. This isn't a one game thing here. It's not just a bad day at the office. There's something no right, and it's been the same for a couple of years now. So things need to be properly addressed, I think.
Whether we like it or not, we're 6 games into the season, and Scotland's shame have got a 2-game advantage over us.
Actually,
Exactly. It's not
A 2-game advantage over us.
aye,
Aye.
in the sense that 4 points, we need them to drop points in 2 games for us to
Ah,
catch them.
pardon me. Yeah, aye. For me anyway. Postecoglou's post-match comments of the past few games, they've not been egotistical. They've not been defensive. Defensive on his own part. But he's still kind of insulated by that honeymoon period. And it's not helped today by the fact that we've had McGregor out again and Furuhashi out again. But I think now, moving forward, it is going to get more difficult. People who have defended him, who've defended the coaching staff as well, they're going to find it a little bit more difficult to continue defending him if things don't go our way, especially away from home. It's much more rosy in the garden at Parkhead, but away from home, it's a different animal. So, aye, that's me.
So well, basically, we've kind of run out of negative superlatives for the day.
Can I just say something positive?
No,
Please.
It was fantastic going to the pub today, seeing my pals, jumping on a supporters bus and attending an away game. It just felt brilliant, especially for all the years I've worked away that I've missed doing this in a regular occurrence. It was just brilliant to be there.
excellent.
And do you know what? I'm not concerned. I'm the panic button's not getting. I know it's like, as I say, 50% win rate after 6 games, 3 home, 3 away. But you know what? I can see it's gone in the right direction. And
Dazza, do you think it's going to be a kind of Tommy Burns-esque season where
I don't see that. Mate.
No, but we're seduced by the style of play, but it might not be the happy ending that we all wish for.
Oh, don't say that, man. I didn't even think it. I didn't even put it in that route. You didn't. And
Maybe
I
that's
can see
something we
myself,
come back to later on in
and I
the
can see
season.
myself getting into that trap. Now that you've just mentioned it, it's.
I'm sorry, mate. Man. You were so happy. You were so happy. Captain Buzzkill. Captain Buzzkill.
Fucking Darth Vader, there's fuck's sake. But aye, listen, Darth, as you said, it was the fans there the day were absolutely brilliant. They were in full voice, and it's good to hear that perspective from somebody that was there, giving us that kind of insight. And that's been the way it has been since the fans were starting to load back into the stadium. You even see at Celtic Park, you know what I mean? There is that feel good factor after a shitty period, and you're getting some good performances, which is obviously alleviating the Celtic support, elevating them. Sorry, but then you do have to come back to these negative issues whereby you look at the points, you look at the types of goals that we're losing, you look at the style of play, going to places like Livingston today. Do you know what I mean? It does put you on a downer.
Next 5 games, as I say, next 5 games: Dundee United, Aberdeen, Motherwell, St Johnstone, and the Hibs. If and I can't believe I'm saying, if by the grace of God we win them, I guarantee you by the end of them we'll be 2 games ahead.
Here's hoping.
Loving your optimism.
Hey, keep the faith, so I'm keeping the faith.
Right, listen,
Is that because of the George Michael Jota type thing that we got?
Listen,
I like that, aye.
Are you going to start busting out a rendition of I'm Your Man?
Please don't.
God bless this lovely land of mine.
Hey, listen, see, before we wrap up, it's been a Celtic autopsy today, because obviously we've had to sift through the negatives. I'm just going to ask you, t-shirts, lads, what you all wearing? Dan.
I've went dug it out. Me and Gav had went through my renditions of old tops, and I picked this one. It reminds me of the Boa Vista game. It was just after Easter when we fought Boa Vista, and put us to the UEFA Cup final,
Good days.
2003.
What about yourself, Gav? What's that you're wearing there? Looks like a
It's
Jack
like a kind of
Daniels.
Jack Daniels t-shirt, but it says Lisbon Lions on it.
Lovely. What? No chance of a wee pirouette there, no? Just. And well, coming to the last but the man with the football kit collection. What is that?
Whiter than white.
Whiter than white,
and
is it?
gold.
I was going for some sort of I don't know what I was going for. Actually, I was going to try and be smart with that one, but no, I'm too negative depressed to try and find positivity. However, this is last season's Bordeaux away, which I thought was really smart. Unfortunately, without the sponsor, which still looks smart, but the sponsor version is quite a classy number. But I like this. It's nice, it's clean, it's crisp.
So you thought you'd bring the Vava Voom in instead of a Celtic top?
Aye, because nobody else in Celtic was bringing the Vava Voom.
Sacre bleu.
Mel. Right, brilliant guys. Listen, we're going to wrap it up. Been a great chat tonight. We are going to be back on Tuesday night. We are going to have a weekly roundup. Lots of content, lots of things to speak about. Hopefully, the negativity will die down a wee bit, and we'll look forward to the upcoming
I actually
games.
think that
Does that mean McGinty's not joining us?
I don't think we were too negative tonight.
Nah, we've done well. We know where we're going wrong, and I'm sure we'll dive into this more, as we say, when we come back on Tuesday.
Right,
I wish we were more like that half-wit for Rangers TV.
I wish none of us were like anybody from Rangers TV.
Right, Dan, that's enough for you. Get back to the beers tonight. Right, just tell the viewers, thanks for tuning in again. As always, if you could give us a watch, a like, a subscribe. We're starting to grow a lot more. We're getting a lot more views, loads of subscribers. So if you could just help us out, continuing that on.
And a shout out to our Australian followers on YouTube as well.
Absolutely, and who can forget the lovely Kenny as well? We need to give that man a shout out. He's been commenting quite regularly, so thanks very much, Kenny, and we're Aussie mates.
Excellent.
So,
all the best, guys. Hail, hail.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Right, cheers, boys. Thank you.
Cheers.